Tammy, you want to do this, Tammy?
Nama Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Nama Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. Nama Fundamental Teacher Shakyamuni Buddha. The unsurpassed, deep, profound, subtle, wonderful Dharma and 100,000 million eons is difficult to encounter. Now that I've come to receive and hold it within my sight and hearing, I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual meaning.
Yeah, thank you. Let's do 1 minute meditation, then we can start our class. Okay, the meditation, I think most of us know what to do, but I just go ahead and repeat anyway. Keep our back straight, our neck straight, close our eye, and inhale and exhale through the nose. You count 1, inhale and exhale through the nose. You count 2, keep going, don't hold your breath. Try to do it naturally. And if you see your monkey mind, that do not go with them, come back to your inhale and exhale and counting. If you lose track of your counting, start from 1. Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, 1, 2, 3. We started. All right. Yeah. So we just have a 1-day retreat at the temple in Texas. That's where I am. I stay, and we do the recite the mantra as well as recite the Buddha name, and also do the lecture, and we do the repentance, and we also recite the Buddha name, and I also do the lecture. So, we do also little about the meditation, because here we have a lot of old people, so we don't want to do a lot of meditation. That they don't want. So depend on who we are, who the audience here. So that's okay. I wish that 1 day we could have we get together. We can do that. That would be nice. So last week we learned about. Okay, let me briefly recap what we have learned so far. So there are 62 wrong views. That means attachment of the self and the world, right? It divides into 2 groups. The first one is the 18 kind of wrong view regarding the past. The second one is the 44 kind of wrong view regarding the future. So we are learning the 18 kind. So we learn the first 4 wrong view regarding eternalness, right? That means it's this one right here. They are the meditator. They have a deep concentration, and they enter into the deep concentration. They be able to remember their past life, 1 past life, 2 past life, up to 10, and some could also remember up to 100 or 1,000 or few thousand, depend on their deep concentration. What does that mean? Each time when they see that, each time they be born, right? They be born into the certain family, have a certain name, and have a certain occupation, and after that they die. and they repeat many times. So what they say is, so the cell is eternal, right? The cell eternal. That means it's always there. That means the cell. So they attach to the cell. They say that it's the cell eternal, and also the world. When they reborn to those worlds. It keeps repeating over and over again. That's why they said the world is also eternal, right? So far so good. The cell and the world both are eternal. The second one is the wrong view relating to regarding to the partly eternal and non-eternal. So remember, in Buddhism, we're talking about the Buddhist cosmology, right? There are three different realms. Um, the desire realm, the form realm, and the formless realm, right? The desire realm, we have six heaven regarding to the desire realm. The more higher, the less desire they have, but it still relate to the desire realm. And we talk about those quite a bit. Um, um, Usually, when we're talking about the desire, it relates to our craving, right? Craving for food, for everything. So those things we're talking about. And for the form realm, there are four states of meditation, right? We call the chana. The chana, is that what you call? Did I pronounce correctly, William?
Yeah, I think so.
The first state of jhana, second state of jhana, and third state, and so on. That means in the form realm, this is each state, right? They have the first state of jhana, they have three heaven realms. The second one, they have three. The third one also have three. The fourth one, they have four heaven. That means add together, it's equal to, let's see, 13 heaven. And the last five is belong to the third state of Arahant. That means the one who attend the third state of Arahant, we call the non-returner. That means they are no longer, they already end the samsara, no more death and rebirth cycle. Okay? That's what we call the saintly one or the enlightened one, nearly to become the Arahant. In the form realm, they don't. In the desire realm, we using the food to eat, right? We eat by mouth, and we and that means we. But in the form realm, they do not use food to eat. They use what? What do you know? What do they use for food, William?
Don't they just meditation?
Yeah, the meditation at the energy of the food, right? That is the food source of that form realm. And remember, in the heaven, in the desire realm, we have the gender male and female. But do you think that form realm, do they have a male and female?
In the form realm?
Mm-hmm. What do you think?
The way you're posing the question, it sounds like no. Sounds like there's not a male and female by the way you asked it. Because there's no more desire. So if there's no desire, there can't be two different sexes probably.
But the Buddha did not. I did not. Well, the Buddha didn't say much about this. I am not too sure. But to me, look like to me because this is related to the consciousness, right? When we do the meditation, that is the state of the meditation. So there is no. I don't think it's a gender related too much because the gender that relate in the desire realm. It's more likely in the desire realm. But I think it. I think the form realm. I don't think they have a gender. Okay. Remember, well, they have all male. There's not no female. I put that way. So that. But anyway, that is not important. So in the form realm, right? Basically, the one they have a lot of blessing. They can live up to billion year, many billion year, not only one. Depend on the state of the consciousness where they are. the lifespan of those beings is very long, right? So there is the heaven, the God from the second state of jhana, right? They exhausted their blessing and they fall into the lower realm of the form realm, right? So they fall into the first jhana. That's what we call the great Raman, right? The heaven of great Raman. So that one is stay there and they live there for a long time by himself. And suddenly one day he said he had the thought like this. You know what? I live here by myself. I don't have anyone. It's kind of bore for him. So what he said that I wish that I have someone to your companion to be here. So and when he raised that thought, and it's coincident that some other being in the higher state of the jhana, that means the second state of jhana, that one also exhausted their blessing, they fall into the first jhana state, right? And one that when that happened, and the first one, that means the rich Brahma, he said that due to my thought, this one appeared. That means I'm the creator who create those beings, right? So he claimed himself as the creator. So what does that mean? The creator is represent for eternal, and the one has been created, but that's what he think. He the one who created them. That means the one claimed to be been created to be the non-eternal. Does that make sense so far?
Yes.
Okay. So that's what we call partial eternal and non-eternal. That's what it means. And the third one here is regarding to the finite and infinite. Let me see. Okay, regarding to the finite and infinite, this one right here, they do when they in the meditation, right? They can be able to they see that the horizontal, no, the vertical of the world of the world is finite, but the horizontal is infinite. That's what they see. That's what they see. But do you think that, do we always trust our perception?
If we do, we certainly can be fooled sometimes.
Yeah. You know, the Buddha said that our body, right? Our body and our mind, it's come from what? Come from the five aggregate, right? Five aggregate, it constructs the body and the mind. The first one is we call the form. It represents for the physical form, right? That means our physical body comes from the four elements: the earth, the water, the wind, and the fire, right? So, the earth, that means our solid organ, the bone, and all the solid organ represent the earth. And the water, it means the blood and the liquid inside our body. And the wind, that means the inhale and exhale, right? The fire, it means the heat, the temperature of the body. Because we take those four elements from the outside and we put into our body, it becomes the four elements of the body as well. So, and the physical body is impermanent. It's not permanent. Therefore, if we attach to the physical form, we suffer, right? When it changes. The second one is the second aggregated. It's a feeling, right? The feeling, they have three states of feeling: the joy feeling, the suffering feeling, and neither joy nor suffering, right? So these are the three states. Doesn't matter what kind of feeling if we attach to any kind of feeling, what is the end result, William?
Suffering.
Right, suffering. Even though when we attach to the happy feeling, right? But what happened when the happy feeling gone? We will suffer, right? So that's why the feeling also impermanent. Do not hold on to that, right? What about the perception? That means our thinking. Our thinking come and go. If we uphold on our thinking, our view, right? We suffer when it changes, right? So this thing is impermanent. The same thing with our mental formation. That means when we're talking about the mental formation, it means that it relates to the seven consciousness, the mana. That means the one who attached to the cell, right? The cell, that means the seven consciousness attached to the Arya consciousness. The content of the Arya consciousness, that at the cell. Let me see if I have that thing in here. I hope I have that in here. Okay. I don't. Okay, yeah. Right here. Okay. In Buddhism, right, the way the mind works, these are the eight consciousness, right? So I want to reveal to make, because we have the new people here, I want to reveal so you understand it. The first five consciousness, right? This is represent the five senses, right? The eye, the ear, the nose, the tongue, the body. The object of the eye, that means the form, the visual object. The visual object we call the form. The object of the ear, that means the sound, that means the audio, right? The object of the nose, that means the smell. The object of the tongue is taste. The object of the body, that means touch, right? So when we contact all those things, right, it will create the consciousness of each one, and it will put into the mind consciousness, that means the brain. It will load that data into the memory. Because when the eye sees something, the eye cannot be able to distinguish. But they only recognize that is an object, but they do not know what type of object it is. But once the data is delivered by the eye consciousness, it will load into the memory. When the data inside the memory, it becomes available for the mind, for the brain function, right? We can think, we can visualize, we can contemplate, we can plan, we can have strategy, we can make the decision, whatever here, we can distinguish based on the data. Okay. But one here, and that means the mana consciousness, this is the one holding the content of the store, right? The storehouse, that means the knowledge, the experience, the karmic, good karma, bad karma, that means the action we did, right? We put in here. If this one right here holding it attached to this content, that's what is related to the self delusion, self view, and self pride and self love. Okay, so this one get the data from the brain and they put into the Araya consciousness, become the knowledge, the experience, right? If any function arrives from the mind, let's say that this one want to visualize, let's say the flower, right? Or want to know about the flower. So the rose flower. So those become the inquiry. When the mana put the content of from the RAM, the memory, as well what the inquiry, and it puts in here, this one will become, it will perform the search for that inquiry to gather the search result. Whatever, if we have learned about that thing in the past, those will be the knowledge, and whatever here, those will be the result, and we will return back to the mana and put back to the mind consciousness and put into the memory. That's how we be able to remember certain things, right? Otherwise, we do not remember. Mark, does it make sense to you, Mark?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, this is beyond the medical view. Okay, the medical view only up to the sixth consciousness. That means when we see something, the eye could not be able to distinguish what one that data is put in, because we deliver the data to the nerves, right? Because the central nervous system, they have two functions, the brain and the spinal cord, right? That the spinal cord, it carry the communication link. That means that all the nerves connect from the brain, and those nerves run to the spinal cord and connect to the entire body, the organ, the eye, the ear, and whatever. It control the entire body movement, sensation, and whatever, right? In the medical view, when the data give to the brain, right, what the brain do is it will convert that object into the sight, into the hearing, into the smell, into the taste or whatever. No, that means the brain, they have the function to convert, right? But in Buddhism, it's a little bit beyond than that. So we also talk about this is the permanent storage, and whatever. That's why the Buddha said that whatever we think, we think, and that's what we are. Right? From the thought, we create the world, right? So the content here, it represents us, right? So that's important. So let me go back to here. Let me go back to here. So when they inside the meditation, right? So they see the vertical of the world is finite, and the horizontal is infinite. That is from their perception. Remember, the perception is come and go. If we trust on those, they will fool us, right? So perception is not wisdom. They are just perception. It's come and go. So that's why they are not yet enlightened. That's what we call the wrong view. Wrong view because they do not see the truth yet. That's what it means. Okay, this is the end. Let's see. I think last time we learned about this. Let's go there and we continue on our study. Let me quickly. Can you see this? We would.
Yes.
Ramachala, right? Chitta. Okay, let me see. We done with this. We done with view number 8. Okay. Now I remember. Okay, view number 9. And this finite. Okay, finite and finite. I just talk about that. Okay, this is the view number 11 here. This is related to the, okay, this is also finite, infinite. And view number 12, this is related to the logician, reasoner, right? When we use our logic and we have the strong reason to believe, is that a good thing, William? Should we believe our reasoning?
I mean, it would be hard to know for sure. I think we need some sort of evidence generally beyond reasoning.
But let's say that you also have all the evidence and all those things support you. Do you think that you trust your reasoning 100%?
You mean like definitive evidence, like proof of?
No. Yeah, in here, this is what this Radmin right here. Yeah, they reasoning about. They argue that this one is the world is neither finite or no infinite. This is the even worse. The first three, they are believe the world is finite in horizontal or vertical, whatever. The other side is infinite. So this is the first three related to that. But the last one here, the number 12, this is the one that said that I am very reasoning, I'm very reasoner, and I believe that the world is neither finite or no infinite. So compared to the first three, from the 9 to the number 11, and the number 12 compared to that first three, which one is better? Do you think?
I'm trying to think how any of these views affect someone's behavior. And generally, I mean, the size of the world, I imagine they're not just thinking about the earth, they're thinking about like all of of the universe. I'm not really sure how that would affect behavior in any way. Like if I thought the world was infinite versus I thought it was finite, I don't think I would change my behavior based on that.
Okay, let me show you the cosmology that we learned. This is this is the diagram, right? We talk about the heaven of the four kings, right? They they live for 500 years, right? In the heaven, it's equal to our 9 million years on Earth, and their height at 750 feet, right? One day there is 50 years in human, right? And the second one is we call the heaven of 33, but that is the name is 33 doesn't mean that it's a 33, but 33 countries in the one heaven. Okay, so they live for 1,000 heaven years, that means 36 million years on Earth, and they hide that double, right, and keep going. So what I am, you see, it's increasing, right? It's increasing, but now we into the first heaven. This is the first stage of the meditation. This is the one that we are talking about, the Creator, right? And that's what the Hindu, they believe in the great Brahma as their Creator. So they worship this one right here. But the Buddha reject the concept of the Creator, because he has wisdom, we can see through. Anyway, so this one right here, they live about 320 billion years on Earth, and they are about 14 miles high. We are very small, just like the tiny insect, right? Compared to them. They are double here, and they triple based on this, right? Let me move on. So this is the second meditation of the heaven. So this all here, I just want to give you those things. Okay, we talk about this a lot, so I just want to go through here. Okay, let me go to the formless. Okay, in the formless, you see that. Formless, that means they do not have a physical form. That's what it formless means. The God here, they only go by their consciousness, right? Usually. That means from the five aggregate, they do not have the form aggregate, but they have the other four. The heaven of boundless space and the heaven of boundless consciousness. You see that when they are, if the one in the state of this kind of samadhi, this kind of meditation, they will see the space is boundless. That means infinity, right? Does it make sense? And the one in the form, right? They see that the world is finite. You see the difference, William?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So due to their perception, that means their vision at the perception. So that means they still not see the truth yet. Okay. That means they still attached to those things. Okay. Anyway, now we go back to here. Let me go back to here. That means from the number 9 to number 11, that's through their meditation. But what do you think, number 12, do they go through their meditation? William, what do you think?
Oh, sorry, I didn't unmute it. So that since that's through their reasoning, then they haven't experienced that. It's just what they think it is. So right, if we're simply using our analytical mind to try to comprehend the ultimate truth, that's definitely a mistake. We can't get there with our thinking.
Right, that's correct. This one is even worse than compared to the first three, right? This one is the terrible guy, right? He used his logic, the logic, his own reasoning to imagine the world. It's neither finite nor infinite. But these three right here, at least they go through their own experience, right? This is even worse. Okay, anyway. Okay, that's good. So number 13, right? In the number 13, with bad, with whether it's with or not. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Now I remember. Okay. Here, you see here. Okay, let's read number 13 again. So we remember and we do. William, go ahead and do this. Number 15 again. I could not hear you, William.
Sorry. Wrong view number 13. In this case, there is an ascetic or Brahmin who does not know in truth whether a thing is good or bad. He thinks, I do not in truth know whether this is good or whether it is bad. Not knowing which is right, I might declare that is good or that is bad. And that might be a lie, and that would distress me. And if I were distressed, that would be a hindrance to me. Thus, fearing to lie, abhorring to lie, he does not declare a thing to be good or bad. But when asked about this or that matter, he resorts to evasive statements and wriggles like an eel. I don't say this, I don't say that. I don't say it is otherwise. I don't say it is not. I do not say, I don't not say it is not. This is the first case.
So what do you think about this?
Yeah, so this would be someone who is, more of a normal person in many senses, where they do not directly know if a particular action is good or bad. And so instead of saying, I don't know, they just avoid saying anything about it in particular.
Okay. The way they do that, because they want to avoid, right? So, but they also want to don't let them know that they don't know anything, right? So the eel, right? The eel, that means the one have no bone, right?
Mm-hmm.
That means they quarrel just like the eel. That means the tongue of this one right here, the tongue it quicker like the eel. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
That means the tongue, when he speaks, the tongue is quicker like the eel.
Yeah.
That it means. This one is terrible, right? So when you hear someone say something like this, you know that this person knows nothing, right? Okay. The same thing that over here, the same thing up there, whether it's good or bad, that means he does not know the truth, declare this is good or bad, and he feel the desire of love or hatred or aversion, right? If someone try to challenge him, right, he will have the angry, right? Or he has some kind of if anything of this, that would be the attachment on his part, and that means if someone accuse him for the attachment, he will be distressed, right? That's why it would be a hindrance. Therefore, it's fearing about attachment. Therefore, he used the same statement here to avoid the direct answer. Okay, that is the second one. The first one is this one doesn't know, but second one he fear that he doesn't want to show anyone that he have a desire or hatred or aversion, and because he doesn't know the truth, therefore he used this kind of evasive statement. The number 15 here, I just want to go to here because we done this thing already. The number 15 here, my declared debater. Oh, okay, it's Cuba. Okay. Okay, this one here, he fear about the debater because the one who are the white debater, they are very skillful and they will challenge him, right? So he afraid, and therefore he don't want to have any kind of debate with those people. Therefore, he use this one to avoid direct debate, argument or whatever, right? That is the one. Number 16, this one right here. because of rudeness and stupidity when he questioned in his school. Okay, I see. If anyone wants to talk about the weather day, another word also, that means he doesn't know what to say. And that means usually the people usually want to know the origin of the world, right? The origin, right? The beginning and the end. And also they want to know that after the Buddha died, right? The Buddha is really exists, right? That's what they say. The Tathagata, that means the Buddha exists after that. The Buddha does not exist after that. Book exists and not exist after that. And so and so. That means he does not know all these questions. If someone try to ask all these questions, he fears. Therefore, because he fears, then that means he used this kind of evasive statement to avoid the direct answer. And you remember we learned about this thing here? I think, I don't know. Okay, this is a good thing. I will show you how the Buddha respond for this one. Right? Okay, this is a good one. Okay. I think this you one. I think, okay. Give me one. This is the Tabata Sutra. Okay. Tabata Sutra. Tabata Sutra. Okay, this is the one here. Okay. This is exactly what we are looking for. I think it's worth it to read it one more time so you reconnect the view number 16, I guess. Okay. Sarah, you want to read this one, Sarah? I have heard.
Do you want to read it?
You read it.
No, you read it.
I've heard that on one occasion, the Blessed One was staying in Savatthi at Jeddah's Grove, Anthapindika's monastery. Then the Wanderer, Vengoda, went to the Blessed One and on arrival exchanged courteous greetings with him. After an exchange of friendly greetings and courtesies, he sat to one side. As he was sitting there, he asked the Blessed One, "How is it, Master Gautama? Does Master Gautama hold the view? The cosmos is eternal, and only this is true. Anything otherwise is worthless." No. Then does Master Gautama hold the view? The cosmos is not eternal. Only this is true. Anything otherwise is worthless. No.
Okay.
Then does Master. Oh,
Yeah, go ahead.
you want? Okay. Then does Master Katoma hold the view the cosmos is finite? Only this is true. Anything otherwise is worthless. No. Then does Master Katoma hold the view the cosmos is infinite? Only this is true. Anything otherwise is worthless. No. Then does Master Katoma hold the view the soul and the body are the same? Only this is true. Anything otherwise is worthless. No. Then does Master Katoma hold the view the soul is one thing and the body another? Only this is true. Anything otherwise is worthless. No. Then does Master Katoma hold the view after death I can't pronounce it, sorry, exists only only this is true, anything otherwise is worthless. No.
Tathagata, that means the Buddha. Okay. All right. So let's stop right here. So basically, do you understand all these things, right? What he tried to do here? What the Pachaka he want to do? Why he asked all these questions to the Buddha? What did you try to do?
To get perspective.
Um,
To understand his views and perspective.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, Thai.
Okay.
To understand his perspective and views.
Oh, to understand the perspective view. Okay. William, what do you think?
I think he's trying to solidify the Buddha's position so that he can pick it apart.
Mhm.
If I recall this story, I think we might have talked about this one before, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Okay. He tried to. Well, the reason he asked all these question here, he want to basically he want to see the Buddha can be able to handle all these questions, right? If not, that means the Buddha is not the foremost wisdom. Okay, and in here, when he say each one of this, the Buddha say no. That means he reject, right? Doesn't matter which way he say, finite, infinite, neither finite or no infinite or whatever. He say here, one way or the other way. Buddha always say no. Okay. If you follow that, and you will see it. Okay, all right. Even the soul and the body is one, or the soul, the body two. The Buddha always reject. Okay, Tammy, you want to read the next one here? Tammy.
Then does Master Gautama hold the view after death the Tathagata does not exist? Only this is true. Anything otherwise is worthless? No. Then does Master Gautama hold the view after death the Tathagata both exist and does not exist? Only this is true. Anything otherwise is worthless? No. Then does Master Gautama hold the view after death the Tathagata neither exists nor does not exist? Only this is true. Anything otherwise is worthless? No. How is it Master Gautama, when Master Gautama is asked if he holds the view the cosmos is eternal, after death, a Tathagata neither exists nor does not exist? Only this is true. Anything otherwise is worthless. He says no in each case. Seeing what drawback then is Master Gautama thus entirely disassociated from each of these 10 positions?
Okay, all right, that's good. Thắng Thiện, go ahead and read this one.
But the position that the cosmos is eternal is a thicket of views, a wilderness of views, a contortion of views, a within of views, the fetters of views. It is accompanied by suffering, distress, despair, and fever. It does not lead to discontentment, dispassion, cessation, to calm, direct knowledge, for awakening, unbinding. The position that the cosmos is not eternal, the cosmos is finite, the cosmos is infinite, the soul and the body are the same. The soul is one thing and the body another. After death, a Tathagata exists. After death, a Tathagata does not exist. After death, the Tathagata both exist and does not exist. After death, the Tathagata neither exists nor does not exist. Does not lead to discontentment, dispassion, cessation, to calm, direct, full knowledge, for awakening, unbinding. Does Master Gautama have any position at all?
Okay, okay. Okay, let me see what. Okay, so basically up here, right? When he asked those questions, each one of them, the Buddha entirely dissociated and from this 10 position. And in here, if the one who position, who have those view, right? All this view here, it will lead them to suffering, to distress, and will not lead them to have the full direct knowledge, do not lead them to the full awakening. And all this thing here, he also said that the master have any position at all in this thing. He just repeated, I think. And let's see what the next thing is will say here. William, you go ahead.
A position, Vacha, is something that a Tathagata has done away with. What a Tathagata sees is this: such is form, such is origination, such its disappearance, such is feeling, such is perception, such are fabrications, such is consciousness. Because of this, I say a Tathagata, with the ending, fading away, cessation, renunciation, and relinquishment of all construings, all excogitations, all I-making and mind-making and obsessions with conceit, is through lack of clinging / sustenance released.
Okay, stop right there. Well, can you tell me, this one is very important right here. This is tell you what here the Buddha replied to those questions. Okay. So what the Buddha said here?
Well, so these conceptions about the soul and about the cosmos and about eternal or not eternal, and the motivations to get answers about these conceptions come from delusion. They come from attachment to these ideas. So in the Buddha nature is the source of all of these conceptions, and all of these conceptions are one in the Buddha nature, but they're impermanent phenomena that have no self, just like any other phenomena. And in investigating them and try to find some answers about them, it won't lead to liberation. So the Buddha, being liberated, recognizes that all of these things are just how they are. And to engage in thinking about them is just to like continue the delusion, but to allow, that, to like let go of that, to like renunciation, relinquishment, and the excogitations, like all of the thinking and analyzing. And then it's all of that's related to a self, because it's like, well, I want the answer, I need the answer, and if I have the answer, then I'm good. If I don't have the answer, I'm bad. So all of that mental activity just clouds the realization of the true nature. So I think this is what he's trying to show Vacha, is that it's the issue is the questions that he's asking. It demonstrates a misunderstanding of the true nature.
Okay, because in here they talk about the origination, that means the world, right? And also the five aggregates, right? That means the form, the feeling, the perception, the practication, that means the mental formation and the consciousness. All these things here, the Buddha already detached, right? He already have no links. He did not know. That means he did not. He does not lean on those things, because he know that those things it come from the self, right? When we learn let's go back to here. Let me go back to here. You see in this here, this thing right here, right? Okay. Let me see. Okay. Whatever we have here, right? This content here, do you think this content always stay here forever? William?
Yes.
You think they stay here forever?
That's what I thought I understood. It's the storehouse of all actions, all karma. It's
okay. Let me take it back. Do you think that this content is permanent?
Oh, I think it changes and transforms.
Right.
Um,
It's impermanent.
yeah.
The content keeps changing, right?
Mhm.
It keeps changing. That means we, right? We are the human. We are the living being. Even the animal, the god, the human, the asura, animal realm, the hungry ghost, and the hell, right? This store the power of the karma. That means it creates us, right? And also it creates the world. Remember, about 100 years ago, that means more than 100 years ago, the scientists do not know the consciousness create the world. That means the consciousness create the reality. But nowadays, they be able to understand that the consciousness create the world. Why? Because the content here, for example, let's say the Bill Gates, right? He the one who invent the iPhone, the iPad, all those things. Where those things come from? From his IT knowledge, right? From his experience in IT, and he very rich in the knowledge as well as experience. Therefore, when he sees certain things, he can visualize those things and grab all the knowledge and experience to form another design, to come up with the new design, and to visualize the new design up when it becomes perfect. And that's where those that means when it's still in the Alaya consciousness or in the memory, those things it's not the material, it's a consciousness, right? But when he be able to visualize it and he put into the toy, right? That means he create the protocol, and one he give that desire to the engineering, and the engineering adjust here and there, and they will put into the material. That means they create the iPhone, iPad, or whatever. That means everything, all the phenomenon, all even the universe, we are the one created. Each one of us have an individual karma, and with the collective karma, that means when we let's say that the people in one town, right, in the one family, it means that we have the collective karma of the family. When the people in the one village, we have a collective karma of the village. We have a collective karma of the city and the country, and also the world, right? Those collective karma create the phenomena. That means come from the Alaya consciousness. And even the world, right? Do you think the world is permanent?
No.
No. That mean those things is impermanent, and that means those things is no self. That means that's why the Buddha disassociate from all those positions, right? Because they know when thing is impermanent and no self. Can we use the language to describe the specific? Can you?
No.
I don't think so, because that's why the Buddha don't want to engage into those nonsense, meaningless questions, because it doesn't lead us to anywhere. It has no benefit at all. That's why he rejects all the questions that Vacha brought to him, right? He rejects them all because he knows those questions is meaningless. It doesn't give us the benefit for liberate us from the suffering, right? It does not help us how to end the suffering. Because those questions does not help us anything. Even though we know the question, we know the answer. Can that help us to end our suffering, William?
No.
No, that's why the Buddha disassociates from those positions, from those questions. That's important. So we need to know that. The Buddha is real, right? He show us when we have a problem, he give us the solution. He's just like a doctor. When the patient come, the patient describe the symptom, the doctor will, based on the symptom, he diagnoses it, right? And when he diagnosed it, that means the four noble truth, that means the first noble truth is the truth of suffering. That means the patient symptom represent for the suffering. The second one is the patient, the doctor diagnosed it based on the symptom. That's what it represents the truth of the true cause, right? The true cause of the suffering. The third one is one he be able to diagnosis. That means they an end to the suffering, right? Every suffering they should have an end to it. That means one the doctor know which one help them to which one and they an end to the suffering. Then the number 4 is that means it's, the doctor write the prescribe the medication, right, and give the instruction to the patient how to follow the description, and that is the 4 that we call the path leading to ending the suffering. That's the 8-fold path that we learn about 4 noble truths and the 8-fold path. So therefore, the Buddha only teach us how to deal with our own problem and how to help us to transform the suffering into happiness. That all the Buddha care, and nothing else. Okay, that help us to become enlightened. All right. So that's important. That let me see. Okay, let me go back here. All right. I think that help us. Okay, let's see. Okay, John, read it one.
Master Gautama, the monk whose mind is thus released, where does he reappear? Reappear, Vacha doesn't apply. In that case, Master Gautama, he does not reappear. Does not reappear, Vacha doesn't apply. Both does and does not reappear doesn't apply. Neither does nor does not reappear does not apply. That was a Master Gautama.
Go ahead.
That was a Master Gautama. When Master Gautama is asked if the monk reappears, does not reappear, but both does and does not reappear. Neither does nor does not reappear, he says, doesn't apply in each case. At this point, Master Gautama, I am befuddled. At this point, confused. This modicum of clarity coming to me from your earlier conversation is now obscured. Of course, you're befuddled.
Stop right there, right? Thank you. So he tried to look like the other question. He tried to give the Buddha all those questions. Doesn't look like he cannot be able to challenge the Buddha yet. So he put in another way, right? Using the monk mind. When the monk mind is released, that means released from suffering. That reappear, right? Or so whatever he asked, the Buddha reject all. Okay, the Buddha reject all. Yeah. Okay, let's see why the Buddha reject all. Jimmy, go ahead and.
But how is?
Of course.
On top. Okay, of course you are befuddled, Vacha. Of course you are confused. Deep Vacha, it is phenomenon, hard to see, hard to realize. Tranquil, refined, beyond the scope of conjecture. Subtle to be experienced by the wise for those with other views, other practices, other satisfactions, other aims, other teachers, is difficult to know. That being the case, I will now put some questions to you. Answer as you see fit. What do you think, Vacha? If a fire were burning in front of you, would you know that? This fire is burning in front of me. Yes. And suppose someone were to ask you, Vacha, this fire burning in front of you, depending on what is burning, thus ask how. Would you reply? I would reply. This fire burning in front of me is burning dependent on grass and timber that is sustenance. If the fire burning in front of you were you to go out, would you know that? This fire burning in front of me has gone out. Yes. And suppose someone were to ask you, this fire that has gone out in front of you, in which direction from here has it gone? East, west, north, or south? Thus ask, how would you reply? That doesn't apply. Master Gautama, any fire burning dependent on sustenance of grass and timber, being unnourished from having consumed that sustenance and not being offered any other, is classified simply as out, unbound. Even so, Vacha, any physical form by which one describing the Tathagata would describe him, that the Tathagata has abandoned, its root destroyed, made like palmonier stump, deprived of the conditions of development, not destined for future arising, freed from the classification of form Vacha. The Tathagata is deep, boundless, hard to fathom, like the sea. Reappears doesn't apply. Does not reappear doesn't apply. Both does and does not reappear doesn't apply. Neither reappears or does not reappear doesn't apply.
Okay, stop right here. We will continue on next week. But let me summarize this quickly here. The reason is the Buddha used the fire is very it's a good analogy, right? Because yes, whatever before that we can be able to reply, but when the fire gone, right? We don't know which direction they gone. What does that mean? When the monk who practice the Dharma and they attend the enlightened, that means the state of that mind beyond the consciousness. Remember, the consciousness is the duality, right? Remember that. The consciousness is the duality. The duality, that means good, bad, ugly, beautiful, white, black, whatever. Those are the world. We are living in the world of duality. That's what the consciousness means. But when the one who enlightened, who beyond the consciousness, that means they are non-duality. This is the wisdom, right? Can we use any word to describe wisdom? William.
Are we talking about like, I think we can. I think we use words to describe wisdom sometimes, kind of like a finger pointing at the moon. It's not actually the moon, but it can point towards it.
But doesn't mean that you can describe the exact the actual state, right? You cannot do.
Yeah.
So anything that we use words to describe, that means consciousness, right? Because consciousness, what does the concept mean? It means false thought, right? It's the false thought. It's not the true thought. This is a way, whoever use the consciousness to describe, they are nearby the Buddha nature or they are away from the Buddha nature. William.
Well, away, if we're kind of speaking, because we're always, our essence is the Buddha nature at all times, but it's covered up in our mind. If we're if we're immersed in duality, we don't see it clearly.
Because when we use the concept to describe, we are look outward, we don't look inward. Remember that, right? We don't look into it, inner, but we are look outer. Okay, so that is not the Buddha teaching. The Buddha teaching us to reflect ourselves and look within us. Do not look outside. So those questions relate to the external, not internal. Right? Right, William? So
Yeah.
this is important. The Buddha teaching it, it's beyond word. No one can use word to describe anything. Okay, so we have to be careful. Okay, all right. We stop right here. We will do. Oh boy, he went away already. Okay, anyway. Okay. Okay. Johnson, Owen John, go ahead.
May every living being, our mind is one and radiant with light, share the fruits of peace, hearts of goodness, luminous and bright. If people hear and see how hands are to find giving unity, may their minds wake to great compassion, wisdom, and joy. May kindness find reward, may also relieve their grief and pain. May this boundless light break the darkness of the endless night, because our heart is one, this world pain turn to paradise. May all become compassion and wise. May all become compassion and wise.
Thank you. Tammy, you understand, Tammy?
Yes, I understand.
Okay, good. All right, let's stop right here.